All right, so quick announcement before we get going. Next week I'm out of town, so there is no class on Wednesday or on Friday next week. We do have a bunch of YouTube videos, so you can always go to our YouTube and find recordings of previous classes that I've taught. And then we'll resume the following week. So just know there's no class next week, no live class next week. We'll resume the following week, which will be July. I believe it will be July. Let me just very quickly double check so I don't tell you something that's not true. We will resume. Yes, July 3rd, 3rd and 5th. And then in the chat, V just shared the YouTube channel where you can then watch videos. So maybe you still decide to exercise on Friday or Wednesday next week, you can just go to YouTube instead. All right, well, with that, let's get going. So welcome to our Grow with GoGo Functional Fitness class. This is one of the many services GoGo provides as a part of your membership. In addition to this class, just a quick reminder of what else GoGo can provide. We have rides, meals, groceries, medication delivery, and home services. And you can access all of that by calling one phone number. Oh boy, that moved very fast. Sorry about that. One phone number, 855-464-6872. There's also a reminder that you have a referral code at the bottom of your receipts. So if you go to the bottom of your receipts, you can give that code that you have to a friend. And then if they take a service, a GoGo service, they get $10 in credit, and so do you. We also have a Facebook group. So if you ever want to continue any of these conversations that we have online, you can go there and find us on Facebook. So if we have not met, I'm Adra. I teach the yoga and the functional fitness classes here at GoGo. I'm a occupational therapist. So just so you know, this class is for you. So if anything doesn't feel good, you want to skip it, you're welcome to. Please take care of your body. Everything I offer is a suggestion. So skip something, add something, make it work for you, and have a good time. Our functional fitness class is mostly standing. Our yoga class is mostly seated. So if you feel like, oh, this class has too much standing for me, then maybe join us for yoga next time. All right, so with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and we'll get moving. My video should probably be your big one. If it's not, you can go to the top right-hand corner of your screen and pick speaker view. For our functional fitness class, I like to have a set of weights. So I have some light 3-pound weights. You could get 1 pound. If you have no weights, that's fine. Maybe you grab some water bottles or some cans, or nothing at all. You can do all of these exercises without weight. It's just an option and offer. And with that, let's get going. So I'm going to put my weights off to the side. We don't need them right away. I have a chair here that'll be useful a few times. So definitely do have something, a chair, for later. All right, so standing, placing your feet down. Let's just take a few shoulder rolls back. And a few shoulder rolls forward. And then relaxing the shoulders. Inhale, circle the arms out to the side and up towards the ceiling, reaching tall. And then exhale, lower the arms back down. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, circle the arms out and up. Exhale, arms come down. Last time, inhale, arms circle out and up. And exhale, hands come down. All right, let's take our feet about as wide as our shoulders or slightly wider. Let's keep our toes pointing forwards. We're going to keep our feet parallel first to begin. We'll inhale, bend the knees and reach those arms forward for a squat. And then exhale, straighten the legs and lower the arms. Inhale, we bend, arms come forward, waking up the body. Exhale, straighten. Keep going. Follow your breath. You can move as fast or as slow as you'd like. You can bend as deep as you want. So maybe it's a small bend, or maybe it's a really deep bend. Make it work for your body. You're allowing your hips to go back and your chest to come forward. So I'll just give you a side view. You're letting your torso come forward to counterbalance the weight of your hips. So you don't need to stay super upright unless you want to. Couple more. Next time you're standing tall, we'll go ahead and pause, reach the arms out to the side into a T position. Let's do some small circles forward, like you're circling the size of a softball. So small circles forward. And then allow the circles to get a little bigger. Maybe this is a dessert plate. And then a little bigger, maybe dinner plate size or basketball size. And then even bigger, big beach ball. And then pause in a T position. We're going to go the other way. So small circles back. We're going to start about that softball size. So backward circles. You might start to feel some burning in the shoulders. That's normal. If you need a break, you can always take a break. All right, let's move to that dessert plate size. Dinner plate or basketball size. Beach ball, big beach ball size. Woo! And release, shake it off. All right, let's go back to our legs, but now we're going to turn our feet out. So we did squats with our feet pointing forward. Now we're going to turn our toes out. Still squat, so you can still let your hips go back. You don't need to stay up and down with the torso. Same breath. Inhale, we bend the knees, hips can go back, arms can come forward. Exhale as you rise. Inhale. Exhale. Keep going at your own pace. So it feels probably different with your legs slightly turned out. See if you can keep your knees tracking along that same line as your feet. So sometimes those knees want to knock in and fall in. We're going to try and keep them pushing outward. Couple more. And then coming all the way up. Heel toe those feet towards each other, back together. Let's reach those arms up towards the ceiling. Let's grab a hold of one wrist. I'll mirror you. So we'll grab the right wrist with the left hand and side bend to the left. Feeling the ribs opening, feeling some opening in the waist. Watch that you're doing a pure side bend and that you're not thrusting your ribs forward. So we're trying to go straight to the side without adding any flexion or extension of the spine. So it's just a straight side bend. Your arm might not be in the same line as your torso. Come back to center and we switch. We grab onto the other hand and side bend. Again, watching that you're doing a pure side bend. It's as if you were standing against the wall and you were going into that side bend against the wall, keeping the same points of contact the entire time. And back to center, releasing those arms, shake them off for a moment. And then we'll find cactus arms or goalpost arms, 90-degree bend in the elbows. Let's bend those knees a little bit. Try and keep your legs stable. So the legs are going to try to stay still. And we're going to twist the upper body only. So torso and arms and head move. Hips do not. So rotate one way and hold 2 breaths. And then rotate the other way and hold 2 breaths. And now without holding, you're just going to rotate one way and then the other, just back and forth at your own pace. Again, trying to keep your lower body still. So see how you can move your upper body without the lower body getting involved. Okay, and come back to center. Release those arms, shake it off. All right, let's grab those weights if you want them. We're going into our squats with these weights. So I like to take the weights in front of my chest. You can choose to leave the arms down if that's more comfortable for you. So feet are gonna go about shoulder width, toes point forward. So all 10 toes are pointing forward. Here the chest is gonna stay a little bit more lifted as we bend the knees, hips go back and straighten. Keep going. Inhale, bend. Exhale, straighten. Again, it's up to you how low you go. It's up to you how fast you go. So don't worry about me or anybody else. Make this work for your body today. Just remembering every day is different. So some days this will feel easy. Some days this will feel hard. If you ever want to get rid of the weights, that's fine. Body weight is heavy anyways. Couple more. And then straighten and hold. Let's take those feet together, let the other arms come down. Let the arms come down for a moment. We're going to move into some overhead pressing. So we'll bend the elbows so the weights are by the shoulders. Palms are facing each other, or fingers are facing each other, fingernails. They could see each other if they had eyes. We're gonna push those arms up towards the ceiling and then back down. Up and down. Keep going. Watching that you're not locking out those knees. So the legs can be straight, but try not to lock the knees. Try and let your kneecaps be soft and relaxed. Breath is smooth up and down. Couple more. And release, relax. Keep holding onto those weights, but let those arms come down. We're going to another set of squats, but that turned out position. So feet go again about as wide as your shoulders, give or take. Toes point out. Make sure those knees follow the line of your toes. Weights can be down, or you can follow me with the weights by the chest. We bend the knees and straighten. And release, take a break. We're going into a different variation of overhead pressing. So this time we'll bend our elbows, but the palms will face forward, or the fingernails will face forward. So it's almost like you're starting in a W-like shape with your arms. So the weights are still touching the shoulders or by the shoulders, but instead of the palms facing each other, the palms face out or towards your computer. You're going to straighten the arms up towards the ceiling and bend. Straighten and bend. It's up to you. So I like to stop around 90 degrees, but you can bring it all the way down if that feels good. You could do both. Decide what feels nice for your body. Go through that full range of motion or just partial range of motion. It's up to you. If you start to get tired, go ahead and alternate. Do one arm and then the other. Conserve some of that energy. We've only just begun. Keep breathing. And if at any point anything doesn't feel good, please take a break. Listen to your body. There's no need to overdo it. Couple more. And release, let those weights go. Let's put those weights down just for a moment. Shake out those arms. We're going to go into some side lunging. So we'll take those legs wide, so even wider than before. So we were doing squats with our legs about shoulder width. Now you're going wider than shoulders. You're almost going like the length of a leg in between your legs. Toes are gonna point just slightly out if that's comfortable for you. You can also keep them forward. So I'm gonna let you turn your toes in whatever way feels comfortable for you. I'm taking my socks off. If you have socks, you might take them off, unless you're in sneakers, just so you don't slip and slide. We'll bend one knee and let your hips go back. You can even take your hands to that thigh for a moment, get a little inner thigh stretch, as well as work in the bent leg. Come up, and we'll switch sides, so bend the other knee, hips go back. You can have your hand on your thigh if that helps. And coming up, I'm just gonna show you a side view. So again, we bend one knee, hips go back. So see that my hips go back and my torso comes forward. I'm not upright. It's just different. There's nothing wrong with being upright. It's just different. And coming up, second side. And coming up. Now, if you'd like, you can add weights. So I'm gonna add my weights. It's up to you. You can choose not to add your weights. Weights come by the chest. Same leg position, same torso position. You bend one knee, hips go back. One leg gets an inner thigh stretch, the other leg is working. Push off of that bent knee to straighten it and switch. Bend. And so going side to side at your own pace. Let's do about one more each side. And then once you're even right to left, come up, take a break. Lower the arms. And then we're going to bend the elbows 90 degrees, palms facing up, almost like you're holding an imaginary platter. Then we're going to externally rotate the arms, thinking about the upper arm bone doing this motion, rotating out, reaching those thumbs towards the wall behind you or back behind you. See that my elbow position or that upper arm doesn't really move away from the body. It stays in and the bend stays the same. It's 90 degrees the whole time. And then coming together, bring those pinkies towards each other. And then we rotate out as you inhale. Bring the hands together as you exhale. Keep going. So we're working not only our biceps by holding the weight in this one position, but also our rotator cuff by rotating those arm bones in the shoulder socket. So we're mostly trying to keep the shoulder blades still and finding this motion in the upper arm bone, that humerus bone in the socket. Couple more. All right, take a little break. Arms can come down, shake it off. We're going to do our second set of those side lunges. You can have your weights or not, up to you. So feet go wide once again. You decide how your toes point. Find what feels comfortable. Weights can be up or down. We bend one knee, hips go back, one leg is straight, one leg is bent. Push into the heel as you rise. So you bend the knee, whichever knee is bent, that leg, that's the foot that you want to push into. That heel pushes down as you rise. That pushing down of the heel should help activate those glutes in the back of the leg a little bit more. Nice, smooth breaths. Even yourself out. So you've done the same right to left. And then coming to center, let's bring those feet back towards each other. All right, back to that 90-degree bend, palms facing up. Let's go into that external rotation. So that's where those weights are far from each other, or the thumbs are reaching back behind you. We're gonna stay in this position, but add a bicep curl. So keep this external rotation as you straighten those arms. Watch that those arms don't start to roll in. So those palms are still facing out as best you can. And then you bend the elbows, hands come by the shoulders, and straighten. Keep going at your own pace. You again have that option of doing one arm and then the other. We're trying to keep that external rotation. So oftentimes those tight chest muscles want to roll the arm forward. So watch that you can try and keep those arms turned out. So it's not just the biceps working, but there's a lot of shoulder work here. All right. Go ahead and take a little break. We're going to hold on to just one weight. Put down your other weight. So I'm going to hold the weight between my hands. So I'm holding one end and then the other. You could also hold like this if that's just easier for you. We are reaching those arms up overhead. So take a moment here and feel the tension in your shoulders. So I want you to reach those arms overhead without moving your spine. So here, I'm reaching those arms overhead, my spine doesn't move. So it means my arms are a little bit forward. You might be more comfortable reaching the arms overhead by moving the spine. So see how if I thrust my pelvis forward, if I let my ribs come forward, I can reach the weight overhead. I don't want you to do that because that becomes a lot of pressure on our spine and on our back, and it's not making those arms work in the same way. So find your nice tall position, keep your spine where it is, and then reach the arms up. And you might find that the arms can't reach to the ceiling, and that's okay. They don't have to reach the ceiling, they can be slightly forward. From here, we're going to side bend to one side. So the weight's gonna make this hard. You're gonna feel that core kick in. Watch that you're not twisting, you're not rotating, you're not thrusting, you're not rounding. It's a pure side bend. So it's as if your torso's in a very narrow hallway. Your arms might be a little forward. And bring yourself up. And side bend the other way. If the weight is too much, get rid of the weight. This is plenty hard without the weight. And come on up, take a little pause, bend those elbows. If you have easy access to the wall, I highly recommend you try this against a wall. If you don't have access to a wall, just pretend you're standing against a wall. If you do have easy access to a wall, you just want your feet maybe 2 inches away from the wall. Place your bum on the wall and place your rib cage on the wall and maybe the back of the head. Maybe the head doesn't make it, that's okay. Keep all of those points of contact against your wall or your imaginary wall, and then reach the arms up to the ceiling. And then do your side bend. So watching that you're keeping those points of contact against your real wall or your imaginary wall as you do the side bend to prevent yourself from cheating, from rounding or arching or twisting. Lift yourself up and other side. And again, most of us have pretty tight shoulders, so the arms won't be against the wall, and that's okay. And up one more time each side, side bend. And up, other side. And up. Woo! That's hard for me. I don't know if it's hard for you. Let's put those weights down. Let's find our chair for some balance. So you don't need to turn the chair to be oriented the way mine is. I'm just going to turn it so that you can see me. You're going to place your left hand on the chair and your face sideways. So left hand is on the chair facing sideways. We'll step the right foot forward and your left foot back. Your feet can be anywhere from 1 to 3 feet apart. It's up to you. Allow yourself to be on railroad tracks or parallel lines with your feet. And by that, I mean you're not standing on a tightrope. Your feet aren't on that same line. They're slightly separated. That will give you more balance. Our front foot is completely planted. The back foot, if possible, the heel is off of the ground. Keep holding onto your chair for these first few for balance. You're gonna bend your knees 90 degrees, both knees bend, lowering down as much as you want, right? You go as far as feels good and straighten your legs. We bend and straighten. If you want more challenge, you can always let go of the chair and maybe hover your hand or have just one pinky on the chair to have just a little bit of balance. Watch your knees, especially that front knee, because you can see it. Make sure it's tracking straight forward, that it's not falling in or out. Might feel a nice stretch in the hip, in the front of the thigh and hip flexor region of that back leg. And the next time your legs are towards straight, we'll pause. Place your hand back on the chair if you've lifted it. Bend that front knee a little bit and step forward. Back foot meets the front foot. And we'll turn around and switch sides. So right hand on the chair this time. Left foot steps forward, right foot steps back. Your front foot is completely planted. That back foot, the heel is off the ground. All 10 toes face forward. And you're on those railroad tracks or parallel lines, not on a tightrope. We bend both knees, torso can stay upright here, and straighten both legs. You're welcome to increase the challenge by maybe holding on with a little bit less intensity. Maybe you're holding with just a finger, maybe you're hovering your hand, or maybe you're continuing to hold on tight. Make this work for you. All right, and then next time you're up, hold on to your chair, bend just the front knee, step forward, back foot meets the front. I'll shake it off. All right, we'll give our legs a brief break and go back to our arms, but we are going to repeat that exercise. So you can leave your chair where it is. Let's grab those weights. We're going into some tricep presses, but we have to set up our lower half of the body and our torso to make this actually work so that we can feel those arms working. So you're going to bend the knees and let your hips go back, almost like you're creating your own mini chair that's about to topple forward. So we're bending the knees, hips go back. So notice how my torso is sort of at an angle. You could even bring it parallel to the earth if you have that flexibility. But I want to avoid having your torso straight up because if it's up, you're not going to feel your arms. So you're leaning forward, knees are bent as much as you need. Your torso is moving towards parallel to the earth, but it might not be quite parallel. Let's bend those elbows, squeezing those shoulder blades together. The upper arms are going to stay exactly where they are as you straighten your arms behind you. Pinkies reach to the ceiling, and then bend the elbows. Keep the elbows high. We straighten and bend. Keep going. If this gets tiring, you can always stand up for a moment, take a break. You can alternate, do one arm and then the other. You can even step one leg back. Sometimes that's more comfortable. So you have options. The only thing that I want is your torso to be slightly forward so that when you straighten your arms, you actually feel the back of the arms working. Couple more. And release. Whoo, coming up. Putting those weights down, taking a breath, shaking it off, and we're doing those lunges again. Left hand on the chair. Right foot steps forward, left foot steps back. All 10 toes face forward. Back heel is off the ground, front foot is completely down. We bend both knees. They're going about 90 degrees or less, right? You don't have to go all the way down. And straighten, bend and straighten. Feel free to let go of the chair if you need a little more challenge. Move at your own pace. All right, next time your legs are straight, pause. Grab a hold of the chair if you've let go and step forward. Back foot meets the front. Turn around, other side, right hand to the chair. Left foot steps forward, right foot steps back. Front foot is completely planted, back heel is off the ground. Torso stays upright. We bend both knees as much as you want and straighten both legs. Feel free to play around with how much you're holding on to give yourself the just right challenge. Holding onto the chair and stepping forward. Woo, shake it off. All right, second set of those tricep extensions that we were doing. If these are a lot, just alternate arms or get rid of your weights and do the motion without the weights. It can still be quite challenging. So we're bending those knees, hips go back, torso's coming towards parallel to the earth, but it doesn't need to be parallel, right? Mine's not parallel. That's just a lot of work to get down there. Let's bend those elbows. Here, the upper arms are parallel to the ground though. That's what you're really trying to get. And then we straighten the arms, pinkies up towards the ceiling, so those arms are parallel to the earth, and bend. Straighten and bend. Again, feel free to play around with how your legs are positioned so that you feel steady and safe. You can always take breaks. You can always alternate one arm and then the other. You can always get rid of the weights. It's kind of funny doing these exercises all with one set of weights because it can feel really heavy for the arms, but then really easy for the legs. Couple more. All right. Let's release, shake it off. We're going to stand behind our chair or have our hands on a wall or on a table because we're going to go into some heel raises and some balancing. So I'm just turning my chair so you can see me. You do not need to turn unless you want to. Woo. Hands on the chair or table or wall. Feet face forward, so all 10 toes are facing forward. Let those feet be maybe 4 inches apart, so pretty narrow stance here. We're going to keep the front of the feet down, so toes and balls of the feet are down. And then we're lifting the heels and down, up and down. Keep going. So you move in a range that feels good for your body today. You might pay attention to how your body does this. So sometimes we really just thrust our hips forward to come up, and that makes it A lot less work for the calves, not awesome for our back and our spine. So try and keep your torso relatively upright as you come up and down. So use that chair or wall for support. Couple more. And coming down. Let's stretch those calves for a moment. We'll step the right foot back, bring that right heel all the way down. Feet are about 2 feet apart, and bend your front knee. So back leg stays straight, that right heel pushes into the earth, the front knee bends. So we're trying to create a little length in the back of that back leg, that lower part. That back leg can stay straight, or if it gives you a better stretch, you can bend the back knee just a little bit, as long as you're keeping that back heel down on the ground. And that will just get another calf muscle. So you have 2 main calf muscles, and one of them gets more stretch with the knee bent, and the other gets more stretch with the leg straight. Let's switch. So step forward, other leg steps back, about 2 feet back. All 10 toes are facing forward. Let's start with that back leg straight, bend the front knee. Press that back heel down to the ground. You can stay here, or you can bend that back knee a little bit, as long as you're keeping that back heel down, and see if that gives you a better stretch. If it doesn't, go back to the straight leg. Notice if you're clenching anywhere you don't need to be. Let that go. All right, and then let's step forward. Okay, so we're going to play with doing heel raises on one foot. If that feels crazy, then do heel raises on both feet. So you've already done the heel raises on both feet. That is an option. If you want a little more challenge, you're going to stand on one foot. So I'm going to start with my right foot, lifting the left foot off the ground. The toes can come down at any point if you start to lose your balance. Please hold on to something though if you're going to do this. And you're going to play. Can you lift and lower on one foot? What happens when you've suddenly doubled the load, right? We don't need weights here. We're suddenly using our entire body weight on one side. How does that change the challenge? And again, if that's not working for you, both feet down. Notice if your ankle wobbles here, if your range of motion is smaller, if your hips really want to thrust forward. Notice how your body does this. Okay, and let's switch. So standing on your other foot. So we're balancing on one foot, holding on, lift and lower the heel. Ball of the foot and toes stay down. And again, if it's too much, do this on both feet. If you are doing one foot, noticing how that changes things. You could also do this seated. I should have mentioned that earlier. You could do heel raises seated, right? There's less weight. We're changing how much weight is here. There's the seated option, there's standing on both feet, and then there's standing on one foot. And the load is so different in each position. All right, heels come down. Both hands stay on the chair or on the table or against the wall. We're going to walk those feet back to create an upside down L position. So those legs are perpendicular to the earth, your torso is moving towards parallel to the earth. If this is too much on the shoulders, your spine can be lifted somewhat, right? You don't need to be all the way down. It's okay to be up a little. All right, and coming up, walking those feet forward. We can step away from the chair. We're going to go into a few pliés with some arm movements to finish up. So we'll take our legs wide. A plié is different from a squat in that we keep our torso upright. So in a squat, we let our hips go back and our torso come forward. In a plié, the torso stays upright. So the head stays over the shoulders over the hips. It just feels different. Legs go wide. We're gonna let those toes point out. Knees rotate as well. We'll bend those knees. We'll inhale, straighten the legs, reach the arms up to the ceiling. And then exhale, bend the knees and lower the arms. It's like those fingers are trying to paint the walls next to you. Inhale, circle those arms, straighten the legs. Exhale, bend, lower the arms. Inhale. Exhale, couple more. Taking up as much space as you can. Let's add some audible exhales out the mouth. So inhale through the nose, arms reach up. Exhale out the mouth, let it go. 2 more times. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Last time, inhale. Exhale, let it go. Heel toe those feet together and give yourself a round. Awesome work, everyone. Really great. So now we have a little bit of time, a couple minutes, if anyone has questions. Before I let you have questions, though, just a reminder, in case you popped in late, there's no class next week. There is no live class next week. But we will be back, and it's in the chat, July 3rd and Friday, July 5th. We have that YouTube channel that's also in the chat. So if you want to join us there next week, please do. And now if you have any questions regarding our fitness and our fitness classes or what we did today, now's a great time to ask. If you have GoGo specific questions, the best thing for you to do is contact GoGo directly because I usually don't have the answers. And you can either put it in the chat or unmute yourself. And of course, if you are done and ready to go, that's totally fine. But I'll hang out. Was that hard today? It felt hard for me. I felt out of breath.
Have a good vacation.
Thank you, Bertha. Thank you. Oh, Maureen, I'm glad you like that I explained everything and offer options. That's great. Yes, I'm quite the explainer sometimes.
Hi, this is Susan in Portland.
Hi, Susan.
I just want you to know, I had back surgery 7 weeks ago, so I'm going very slowly, and I had to stop early.
Totally fine. Very smart. And I'm really impressed that you're moving after back surgery, which is good. You should be moving. But I'm glad you took breaks and listened to your body.
Okay, thank you.
You are so welcome. So glad you're here. Yeah, and that's a nice reminder for all of us. If anything doesn't feel good or feels like, oh, too tiring or painful, you should skip it, take a break. All right. Well, if we don't have any other questions, I will let you go. Great to see you. I will see you in July. Have a wonderful rest of June. And that's it. Thanks, everybody.